Have you ever wished for just one more hour in a day? One more chance to fix something, to say something, or to do something you kept delaying? We think time is endless until it runs out. And when it does, we finally realize it wasn't time we lacked, it was discipline. This story will remind you why every second matters, because once it's gone, it never comes back. In a busy little town lived a young man named Arham. He was smart, funny, and full of ideas. Everyone around him believed he would do something great one day. But there was one problem. He always waited for the right moment. When his father told him to start helping in the family shop, he said, "Baba, I'll do it after graduation." When his best friend invited him to start a business, he said, "Let's wait until I have more money." And when his mother reminded him to visit his sick grandmother, he said, "I'll go next week, I promise." But that next week never came. One evening, while scrolling through his phone, Arham received a call. It was his uncle. His voice trembled. "Your grandmother is no more." The words hit Arham like a storm. He had planned to visit her many times, but never did. He sat in silence, staring at the wall, realizing that his favorite word, later, had just stolen something he could never get back. At her funeral, his uncle handed him an old watch. "This was your grandmother's favorite," he said. "She told me to give it to you." It wasn't a fancy watch, just an old, slightly cracked timepiece. But inside, engraved on the back, were the words, "Every second is a story. Don't waste yours." That night, Arham couldn't sleep. He sat staring at the ticking hands of the watch. For the first time, each tick sounded louder than ever before. Tick, tick, tick. Like the sound of opportunities passing by. He remembered the business idea he'd never started, the book he wanted to write, the trip he wanted to take with his grandmother. Everything gone, because he kept saying, "I'll do it later." He whispered to himself, "If I don't change now, I'll spend my whole life watching time slip away." The next morning, he woke up early, for the first time in years. He opened a notebook and wrote 3 words at the top of the page. Start today, now. He began helping in his father's shop, learned new skills, and reconnected with old friends. He turned his grandmother's small backyard into a place for local kids to study after school, something she always wanted. Slowly, his laziness started turning into purpose. Months passed, and people around him noticed the change. One friend asked, "What happened to you, Arham? You're like a new person." He smiled and pointed to the old watch on his wrist. "This watch doesn't remind me of time passing. It reminds me of the value of time." Years later, Arham became a successful businessman. When young people came to him for advice, he always shared his story. "How I lost my time waiting for the perfect moment that never came." He told them, "There's no perfect day to start. The perfect day is today." Lesson: time is the most powerful teacher. It teaches without mercy. It gives equal hours to everyone, but only the wise know how to use them. You can lose money and earn it back. You can lose friends and find new ones, but once you lose time, it's gone forever. So ask yourself, how much of your life have you postponed waiting for the right moment? What dream are you letting slip away because you think you have time? Remember, the clock is still ticking. Your story is being written whether you act or not, so make sure it's a story worth reading. Start that project. Call that person. Begin that journey. Because one day, the clock will stop, and all you'll have left are the things you didn't do. Start today, because later is the enemy of forever.